I'm dating someone with a culture very different from mine. Our traditions and family expectations sometimes clash with our own beliefs. How can we find common ground and truly celebrate our differences?
If the love isn't strong enough, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work anyway. I realized that my partner and I hold fundamentally different values about what's important in life. What advice do you have for handling a relationship where core values are at odds?
You're definitely going to resent them down the road if you keep on compromising. I'm a single parent trying to balance my kids' needs with a budding relationship. How can I set boundaries and communicate my priorities effectively while still opening up to love?
The right person will understand it anyway.
Absolutely, the right person will. Hi everyone, I'm Cassandra and I'm with Tasha Taremi. We are both from Astrodipity as well as Astro Divas. Today we're going to be sharing some emails and going through emails with you and just discussing dating advice and opinions that we both have and sharing our views. And Tasha will give you a little positive reading on what's to come going forward at the end of this. So stay tuned. Just to let you know, Astrodipity is an online dating app. It is based on compatibility through synastry. So the whole idea is you get on and you put in your time of birth, your date of birth, and your place of birth, and it helps the algorithm basically matches you to someone who's compatible with your zodiac chart, as opposed to just you and your interests and things like that. It's really, really cool. You get to learn about yourself. We have a lot of other things that are coming in that you guys will get to see in the future, the near future. So we're excited about that. In the future, you'll be able to post videos and post your daily dog if you want, or anything like that. So there's going to be a social app part of this. And we're just really, really excited. And we really hope you join us and be a part of this with us. On that note, we're going to start with the emails. Oh, and I did want to tell everybody that we will have a guest on in March. Her name's Crystal. She's very, very sweet, and she wants to come on and be a guest. So we're going to be doing that. And if you would like to be a guest on our podcast, please reach out to us at astrodivas@astrodipity.com. On that note, I will start with the first one, Bridging cultural divides in love. Dear Astro Divas, I'm dating someone with a culture very different from mine. While I cherish the opportunity to learn and grow, our traditions and family expectations sometimes clash with our own beliefs. How can we find common ground and truly celebrate our differences without feeling overwhelmed by cultural conflicts? What's your advice?
Well, I think, love always wins. So if you truly love one another, there are certain things that, maybe you agree not to discuss. You respect each other's beliefs, but you agree not to have debates on those beliefs. If the love isn't strong enough, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work anyway. But if you truly love each other, then just agree to disagree and don't discuss it. Don't talk about your differences.
You're right. There's no reason to aggravate things between you just because you have a difference of opinion or different, when it comes to things like that, you should absolutely just, it really doesn't matter because love wins in the end.
Yeah, always.
Always. I agree.
All right, so our next one is value conflicts and relationships. Dear Astro Divas, I realized that my partner and I hold fundamentally different values about what's important in life, be it career priorities, social responsibilities, or personal ethics. I'm torn between compromising and feeling like I'm losing myself. What advice do you have for handling a relationship where core values are at odds? So I can weigh in on that first if you want.
Sure.
So for me, a core value is not like compromising on what restaurant to eat at. Core value is in part your beliefs, which is attached to your identity. And to sacrifice your core values, your beliefs, and going away from your true identity, to me, is not good. It can be toxic to me. That feels toxic. And I would never compromise what my values are, because you know what? When you do that, you will only be upset. You will hurt. You will feel bad within yourself that you lost your identity for someone else. You gave your essence to someone else. Who you are, you surrendered it to someone. And that's not what love does. Love doesn't do that.
No, it doesn't.
So
I believe that you should live and let live. And if you both are disagreeing on everything when it comes to whether you agree on do you move in together, or is cheating okay, or things like that. I think if your values and your core beliefs are very, very different in the first place, you're definitely going to resent them down the road if you keep on compromising.
And yourself.
And it's going to hurt even more, because you'll realize you wasted so much time trying to make something fit that doesn't fit at all. I agree. The next one is, hello girls, I'm single. I'm a single parent trying to balance my kids' needs with a budding relationship. It's challenging to find someone who understands that my children come first, yet I still crave a partner who I can share my life with. How can I set boundaries and communicate my priorities effectively while still opening up to love?
I think the right person will understand it anyway.
Absolutely. The right person will. And your kids should come first to a certain degree. You have to remember to always put yourself first. Your children will grow up one day and they'll leave the home and they'll go on and move on with other relationships. Depending on the age of your children, that is a whole, there are two ways this can go. If they're young, of course, they are your priority, period. If they're older, however, I think you have to find a happy balance.
Right.
Because your partner should be a priority as well, especially if you want it to work out in the long term.
Yeah. So the next one is, my partner dreams of settling down early while I'm still focused on personal growth and travel before I commit. Our life goals seem to be diverging, and I fear this may lead to future resentment. How do we have a productive conversation about our long-term visions without forcing one person to sacrifice their dreams?
You know what? Speak the truth, but I already hear that I'm assuming it's a she, has made up her mind, though. She's focused on personal growth and travel before she commits. That is her focus. So at this point, I would ask you to be honest with yourself. You've already made your mind up that you don't want to be forced into commitment, which you shouldn't be forced in the first place. And this is what you want. And this means more to you. So at that point, you have no choice but to be honest. There's nothing to compromise here on when you've made it very clear in this email what you want to do before you commit.
Right.
So you need to have that.
He's either willing to wait, or you need to part ways. You need to part ways. Yeah.
Absolutely. Astro Divas, after a painful betrayal in a previous relationship, I'm finding it hard to trust fully, even with someone wonderful and I'm currently dating. Someone wonderful I'm currently dating. Every little misstep feels magnified by my past. What are some practical steps to rebuild trust in a relationship after experiencing deep hurt? Well, this is very normal what you're going through. It's not unnormal.
No.
Yeah.
So I had this exact situation for myself. And when I would get triggered and I would feel fear creeping in, I would stop and I would ask myself, why am I feeling this way? Is the current energy, is it supporting this response? Or is this a response from a past wound? So instead of letting it just come out of your mouth like vomit, go within and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is my new partner's action supporting this response, or is this a past memory of fear? Because if it is, then I need to address it within myself and pull my energy away from it, not be reactive. That's what I did, and it works.
It's hard. I'm learning this now. I'm in the middle of learning this now, that it's normal. We're all flawed. Nobody's perfect. I'm learning after listening to other people tell me that you're emotional or you react. I do react. Sometimes I'll take things personally, or it will trigger me and trigger a response from what you just said, something in the past. That is very human, and it's not. It's easier said than done to do what Tasha said, but that's exactly what you have to do. And so you have to train yourself to catch it before you react. And it does require self-work to realize that your past is not your present. Your past is not your present, but I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It's true.
Well, you put yourself at risk to sabotage a perfectly beautiful relationship based on your past wounding and the fear that it will repeat. You actually will cause a repeat cycle by doing that.
Right.
And so if you just do it, if you just stop, take a moment, okay, put on the brakes. Why am I feeling this way?
Right.
This person didn't do to me what the past person did. So pull your energy back.
And it will take some time. Yeah, it will take some time. But before you know it, you're going to feel confident. The past will be out of your mind because you've gotten used to being positive about things.
It'll burn off like the fog. It'll burn right off.
Yep.
So I'm next, the juggling busy schedules and meaningful communication. Hello, Astro Divas. My partner and I both have demanding careers, and our schedules rarely align. Even when we do talk, our conversations feel rushed and superficial. How can we carve out quality time and communicate deeply despite our hectic lifestyle? I mean, that has to be a discussion between two people and say, you know what, our relationship is very important. So we need to get on the same page as far as days that we need to have relationship time. And if you can't do that, then there's misaligned goals there for the relationship.
Right. It's important. You've got to make it a priority. There's no other way to say it. You have to. So if you want your relationship to work, then you have to say, this is a priority and this is what's the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
You just have to. Yeah. Dear Astro Divas, I'm passionate about my career, but I'm noticing that my long hours and intense work focus are causing friction with my partner, who feels neglected. How do I strike a balance between professional ambition and nurturing a fulfilling relationship? Well, it's nice that you're aware of how your partner's feeling, and that's a huge, huge benefit to both of you. And that means you care. And in this case, then, since you're aware of it, it shouldn't be that difficult to try and come up with ways that you can make him feel like he's not neglected, or by, doing things, whether it's words of affirmation, whether it's explaining, I'm really sorry that I've been sort of in my own world, focused on my career, not putting in the time. It's wonderful that you're aware of it. And that means you absolutely care. So that's step one right there. And having a conversation and saying, you're right, I've got to make some changes. Let's do this. And just coming up with ideas together would be, a way to help you guys, so that one doesn't feel their needs aren't being met. Because this doesn't sound aggressive or harsh or anything like that whatsoever.
Well, the one thing I will say, and it may seem harsh, is money is fleeting and love is eternal. Right? You can create generational wealth. You can create wealth from a loving union. But without love, it's hard to maintain financial resources. So you need to ask yourself, what is the most important thing in your life? Because money comes and goes, but love lasts forever.
That's coming from a romantic.
And a secret one. So the next one's my partner is emotionally unavailable. Oh, brother, I've been through this. It says, I love my partner, but they seem as emotionally distant, rarely opening up or sharing their inner thoughts. I'm left wondering if our connection is truly deep. What strategies can help encourage emotional availability without making them feel pressured to change who they are? You have somebody with a closed heart chakra, is what I feel. You have somebody that has wounds that does not want to heal these wounds. So they are cold and detached. This is not someone that you can force to open up. This is someone that has a lot of healing to do. And I'm speaking from experience. If this person doesn't get help for their healing, I would walk away. You will end up sacrificing yourself. You will feel lonely and you will feel miserable if they don't do the work. I know that's kind of harsh, but it's true.
Right. Unless this is their personality and they've always been this way. But at that point, you would know this when you got involved with them. And if this is something, if this person is like that, male or female, doesn't matter what the gender is, and they are that way just generally with everyone, my question to you is, why did you continue to move forward with them? Because you shouldn't want to change them at that point. That's who they are. Otherwise, it would be what Tasha said. Yeah. Overcoming my fear of vulnerability. Hi, everyone. I've always been guarded because I'm terrified of being hurt, and that fear keeps me from fully opening up to my partner. I want to build intimacy, but vulnerability feels like a huge leap. How can I learn to trust my feelings and share more of myself without risking too much too soon? Well, the first thing is that you're aware of it. You're aware that you're afraid and that you're guarded. And that is a good step. And maybe sharing how you feel right now, this feeling, this fear you have with your partner would be a very, very good idea, because maybe they'd surprise you and be very compassionate and understanding and say, hey, well, why don't we work on this together? And you don't have to be afraid. And maybe they would reassure you. You're only going to know if you share your feelings. And you do have to push yourself to do that. You can't expect anyone to read your mind and know what you're feeling deep down. It is scary, it is hard, but that will help you heal in itself by pushing yourself to take that step forward.
Well, what I would say is you definitely need counseling. You need to heal. And it starts with self-love. When you love yourself and you know your value and worth, you're not afraid of anyone walking away. You don't expose your complete vulnerability until it's given in equal parts. You match the energy that's given to you. And but I feel like you need to build your self-confidence, self-worth, because when you know you're amazing, you're okay with somebody walking away. They're either going to match your energy or you're going to walk away.
But this person is aware, though, that they're terrified of being hurt. They're aware.
Yeah. She needs to work on her self-worth.
Right.
Yeah. So the next one is when distractions steal our connection. My partner often seems distracted by work calls, social media, and even side conversations during our time together. It leaves me feeling unimportant. How can we create dedicated distraction-free time that strengthens our connection and make us both feel valued? I would lay it on the table. I would tell this person exactly how you feel when you are supposed to be having alone time with them, that they are constantly distracted, that it is causing an interference in the relationship, and maybe carve out some time to put the phones on silent, to dedicate that time to one another.
Yeah. There's nothing really more to add to that, because your alone time is important, and you do have to show your partner that you care about them, and it's not all about the phone or about the doorbell ringing or about, other things. You need to have some time with your partner that's just for them, and everybody should have that, just like you would in a friendship or your family. It's undivided attention, and that's That's important in any relationship. Doesn't have to necessarily be romantic.
Right. And maybe there's something that your partner, that you could do to help your partner to alleviate some of that. For myself, I was constantly on my phone too because of work, responding to comments, social media posts. And Mark and I talked about it. And I said, well, look, I have all this responsibility. So he took over half of the responsibility.
That's wonderful.
So that's how it works when you have two people that are committed to making a relationship work. You're gonna do what you need to do to balance it out.
It's balance. Yep. It's all about balance. Hi, Tasha and Cassandra. My partner and I have very different attitudes towards money. One of us is a saver and the other a spender. This difference is creating tension when we plan dates, vacations, and even daily expenses. How do we find a compromise that respects both our financial philosophies? Well, you're both very different people, probably different signs, like complete opposites. And I understand this all too well. And it is normal that one person is going to be more responsible or more about the money than the other person. It's very rare that you've got two people that think exactly the same when it comes to things like this. But you do have to sit down and have a very good, deep, heart-to-heart conversation. And you have to get on the same page as to what that money is for, like whether it's for you want to buy a house and that's really important to you and maybe not the other person. Those things should be, you both should feel the same. And if you don't feel the same, you need to have a conversation because it is important. Having different values when it comes to money is a huge, huge issue in relationships and causes a lot of relationships to fail. That's why having that conversation is very, very important. And if you can come to an agreement and a compromise and see eye to eye on these things and understand where the other person is coming from, you'll notice that your relationship gets smoother and you'll both get excited about things and it could change everything dramatically, really. So I believe communication is everything, especially when it comes to this. Very calm, settled communication. That's it.
Well, I mean, I think just discussing your financial goals, and if this person, say they're going to allocate $500, he's going to have $500 every month to buy the things that he needs, that he thinks he needs. Then he needs a separate account, and you both need to be in agreement that 500 will be allocated to what tools you need, what expenses you have. And this is our goal, our financial goal together, including him in it. Sometimes though, men, it's a part of their identity, having their own money separately to be able to spend. And that's just the way they are. But if you're on the same page and you know this amount's going to be allotted, it should work out fine.
Yeah. And you have to figure out what is it, if you're saving money, and you're saving money because you want a big thing and that person just would rather spend it on dates or things like that, you really, really have to get aligned. This is important for both of you going forward. And money is, the root of all evil when it comes to relationships breaking down. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It just doesn't. It's you.
So the next one is, I often feel that I'm the one who initiates deep conversations, plans quality time, and manages conflicts in our relationships while my partner remains passive. This imbalance is draining me. How do I address the disparity in emotional labor without coming off as overly critical? It sounds like you are with a child, an emotionally immature individual. That's what it sounds like to me. And it sounds like this person's well aware of your need for an interaction, an equal energy exchange, but they're not willing to give it. And you know my answer to that. Don't waste your time.
I get a different feeling from this. I feel like it sounds to me like you both have different ways of communicating, period. That you might be like a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, if you want to talk astrology. You might be, more into the deeper analytical conversations, and like to be vulnerable or open. It sounds to me like this person isn't like that. It's not their character. Um, if the balance is draining you, and you can't get an understanding from your partner, at that point, then you have to reconsider, is it going to work down the road? Or is your need to have somebody who's more into deep conversations, such as you? I have a lot of friends and a lot of people in my life that don't like deep conversations. It's not their thing. You get deep and they want to just, they don't think like that. And so this is really, to me, it just sounds like you're two different people, and very, very, you just have different styles. And I don't think that's a horrible thing, or that there's something wrong with either one of you. Um, I just think you might be different. And how do you address it? You speak your mind and you tell them the truth. And, but you can't change someone who is like that just by nature. You know, opposites work for reasons, and hopefully this isn't one of the opposite things that you have that split you apart. Hopefully it's not. But if it's something that's draining you, then you have to speak up. That's it. Helping a partner overcome insecurity. My partner struggles with insecurities that sometimes lead to jealousy and unnecessary arguments. I want to support them, but I'm not sure how to help them and build self-confidence without feeling like I'm their therapist. What are some effective ways to foster and secure a supportive environment for both of us? Well, your partner needs to work on this themselves. You shouldn't be the one who is the reason for them becoming secure within themselves. However, everybody, and that's what therapy is good for, or having a supportive friend, or your soul tribe encourages you. Everybody benefits from being around people that are encouraging and supportive and things like that. It does help your self-esteem and can help you realize sometimes what you're not able to see yourself in that moment. The reason why I can easily say this is because I used to do this. My work experience involved exactly this. And sometimes people aren't able to just become secure within themselves because they took time out and they magically did it. A lot of times it does take external support, and your friends who you socialize with, who you talk to, that's very, very, very important. But you won't be able to help them completely on your own. You cannot do it. They need to do some work on their own. You can be supportive and you can show them that you love them unconditionally and that you love who they are in the first place, but you will not be able to make them secure and whole within themselves by you alone supporting them.
I agree with everything you said. I really don't have anything to put into that.
Okay.
The next one is, am I investing too much? I sometimes feel that I'm more invested in our relationship than my partner is. I'm always the one reaching out, making plans, while they seem content with minimal effort. How can I bring this up constructively? And how do I know if I should adjust my expectations or accept the imbalance? No relationship should be less than an equal energy exchange. It should be an equal give and take between both of you. I would definitely set those boundaries. And if he doesn't step up to the plate, then you need to make the decision on whether because it's only going to get worse.
Right.
It's only going to get worse. So you need to make the decision. Are you willing to be the one to do all these things with minimal effort on their end? You have to decide that.
It's hard. When you have feelings for someone and you love someone with all of your heart and they just don't see how much you're putting in and just take it for granted that you're always going to be there.
Yeah.
But you really shouldn't for yourself. Like Tasha said, you're going to resent yourself. You're going to be upset with yourself. You're wasting your time. essentially, because you could be meeting somebody and having your needs met too, and it should be balanced. Everything's about balance. Hi, Astro Divas. My partner and I have here we go, have very different political beliefs, and recently our discussions have become heated and divisive. In today's polarized climate, how can we maintain respect and understanding for each other's viewpoints without letting our differences undermine our love? Like Tasha said before, don't discuss it. Just don't.
No.
It's not necessary. They say, if anybody here is into numerology and things like that, if you have a 3 in your birthday, 3s are very, very public. They like to talk. They also like to argue. I'm born on the 30th. I can say I'm definitely one. Once you get me started when it comes to politics, I'll get into a debate with you. But I will also be the first one to say, okay, let's not discuss it if we don't agree. I will be the first one to do that after the debate, just because it's not worth it. Is it worth your friendship or your relationship with your sister, your brother, your friend, your husband? Is it worth it?
Right.
It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Politics,
No.
you're entitled to your own opinion. You really are.
No, I agree. I agree with all of it. I wouldn't discuss it. I would nip it in the bud immediately.
You would do it before I would. You would be, let's not. And I've been around people when I've had business meetings or something. I've heard other people say, so what do you think about the prime minister? We're talking Canada right now. And I recall hearing them say, I am definitely not discussing politics. And there is a rule out there that you shouldn't even discuss politics on social media, because you're going to get people who agree with you, but you're going to get a lot of people who don't. So why do that? Your opinion is yours. Keep it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is facing a partner's reluctance to discuss the future. I'm eager to discuss our future together, living arrangements, travel, and even marriage, but my partner avoids these topics, leaving me feeling uncertain about our direction. What's the best approach to encourage our dialogue about our future without pressuring them too much? They already feel pressured. So how long have you been together? I would need to know that. If it's been 6 months, if it's been a year, I feel that you are wasting your time.
Tell me something. If you're together, why is it pressure anyways? Like, why can't you just have the conversation? You might not be on the same page. That's fine. But why would it bother someone to just have the conversation if they respect you? I'm not talking love. I'm talking just respect. If you want to have a conversation about the future and where this is going, isn't it a respect thing to acknowledge what you want to discuss? It's not a pressure thing anymore. It's respecting that you want to have a conversation. That's the part that I struggle with some of the emails, because I realize for a very, very long time, I've listened to other people and they would say, well, it pressures me, or it's making me feel like I don't want to have that conversation. It shouldn't even be about that. Forget the pressure, forget that you're not ready, forget any of that, but just respect, because the person would like to talk about something and you can't sit there and say, you're not allowed to talk about that, or this is a conversation I don't feel like having. What gives anybody the right to do that?
Right.
So,
well, it's somebody that's non-committal. It's someone that's non-committal. And so
say that and say, I don't respect you enough to have the conversation.
Right. But they don't. They would rather hide and coast along in the relationship without ever having to have the commitment discussion. And so that's where the other person, they must have a little bit of insecurity, fear of loss to even put up with it. You have to say,
Right.
you know what?
No,
No, I want someone that knows what they want. Yeah.
Right. But just people, I'm just asking you, remember that having a conversation doesn't matter what you want to talk about. Remember, the second someone says, I don't want to talk about this, or I don't feel like talking about it, it's not about what you're talking about. It's disrespectful to not allow you to communicate whatever you need to communicate, whatever
I
that may be.
agree. Yeah.
Hi, Astro Divas. I sometimes struggle with jealousy when I see my partner interacting with others, even if nothing is amiss. I know jealousy is normal to a degree, but it's starting to affect my mood and our interactions. How can I manage these feelings constructively and communicate them without causing conflict? What is causing you to become more insecure now? Like you said, it's normal to some degree, and it is. It really, really is. But something must be changing to have it get worse and to build up in your relationship at this point. What would that be? Is my question.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep.
So it sounds like,
It changed though. It did change.
yeah,
It's a
it's
different.
really a lot lower.
Yeah. It sounds like, what were you saying?
Give me a second. Is that better?
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Okay, so here's the thing with the jealousy. This is, if this person, it doesn't look like the person you're with is doing anything to make you jealous. This is
Right.
internal fears. This is insecurities and worries based on past wounding. So
Right.
you need to take the bull by the horns, get on YouTube, watch some self-help videos on
Good idea.
empowerment and, finding that self-worth, finding that confidence, positive affirmations, building yourself up, knowing how beautiful and amazing you are. That is what's going to help you. That's what's going to help you, point blank.
Yeah. No, and the
Yeah.
YouTube video idea was fantastic. That's
Yeah.
something we should promote more often because it's a great idea. You don't necessarily have to seek therapy for it, but you just have to, the fact that you're aware right now of what's happening, you have to get on that and change that mindset. And watching YouTube videos would be a great start for you.
There's a minister, and I can't remember what his name is, but he has a video out called Being in the Energy of a True Queen. And he's all about feminine self-empowerment. And he's pretty amazing. So you can Google that and it helps.
Yeah, we forget that it's not necessarily you have to see a therapist or anything like that. It can be as simple as you're very aware that you're getting jealous and it's affecting you now, and it's in your head and you're too much in your head about this now. That simple little things like watching positive YouTube videos on helping yourself really are great alternatives. Really, really.
It has amazing results.
Yeah.
So try it and see how you feel after that. But it's pretty good.
But you got to stick to it. You have to stick to it. It's a commitment. Yeah. Hello, Astro Divas. My partner's past relationships and unresolved issues occasionally spill into our current dynamic, causing tension and insecurity. I want to be supportive, and I also need us to live in the present. How do I help them move forward and prevent past baggage from overshadowing our relationship? We're all human, by the way. Just saying, because I understand this one all too well. And I realize no relationship is perfect. And all of us are going to do it. And by the way, there is no such thing as a relationship without any disagreements, arguments, insecurity, any of that. This is part of life. It really is part of life. It's part of a relationship. I'm not saying, that your baggage doesn't affect things, but don't forget, as much as I'd like to, jump on the bandwagon with other people that you shouldn't bring your past into your relationships, it's not reality or realistic to say that we don't, because our past shapes who we are. And as long as you're aware of that in the present, then you can work on fixing that and changing that. But all of us are going to experience anxiety, stress, frustration, all of the negative things, and we're going to experience all of the positive things. All you can do is reaffirm and reassure your partner, that we're in the present, and hey, things are good between us, and we don't have to focus on the past and just let it go. But some people, depending on who you are, do like to talk about this happened in the past and this happened in the past, and actually spend their lives never ever forgetting things that have been done or have happened to them. And that's okay too. We are all different. We're all very, very different, and no relationship is perfect. But on that note, if you are in a really good relationship, you have to try and nip it in the bud and try to focus on what is going well and celebrate those wins. Boy, I'm listening to myself right now. Celebrate your wins.
Well, and being upfront about how it affects when you bring your ex up, it really affects me. Yeah. And, I understand that it's made a big impact. We're in a new relationship, and, but bringing this person up, it does interfere with our current relationship, and not in a judgmental way, but in an honest way, an honest, loving way.
Right. And you've also got to be aware that the more you bring up somebody from the past, the more it's going to make someone else insecure, or can, because then the question comes up, are you over them? Are you really, really over them? Because and it doesn't mean you're still into them, but sometimes it could just mean that pain has affected you so much that you choose never to forgive it. And you have to forgive and let go. You have to forgive. You have to have compassion for them, have compassion for yourself. And compassion is key here. And once you can find that compassion for yourself, you're going to bloom like a flower. That's what it's you or me.
The next one is me. The next one is, after our disagreements, my partner and I sometimes struggle to reconnect emotionally. Even after apologizing, there's a lingering coldness that makes it hard to rebuild intimacy. What are some effective ways to truly mend our connection and move past conflict in a healthy, constructive manner? You need to agree that when it's over, it's over. We're not going to continue with the cold shoulder or resentment. You both need to be on the same page. When we have a disagreement and we apologize, then it needs to end there. We need to let it go there. It's hard, but if you want to have a healthy relationship, you're going to have to work on it. It's going to take practice.
You're so right, because I've been guilty of this in the past. And it's not because I choose to be like that, but because as a child, I, for one, wasn't allowed to speak or allowed to communicate how I felt, or I would be reprimanded if I, had negative feeling or anything like that. And so don't forget how you were raised and things like that, play on that. But as you become aware of it, and it does help if somebody's pointing it out to you in a nice way, in a compassionate way, a kind way. But it's something that I know for me, I need to work on, because I rather than expressing my emotions, I will shut down and, I take a time out kind of thing. But I've been taught to shut it off. And that's not what we should do. We should all be expressive, and it should be okay to express yourself. So like Tasha said, it's not easy. It
takes practice.
Takes practice. That's the best way you can put this one. Hi, Astro Divas. Lately, our relationship has felt emotionally exhausting. We argue frequently and sometimes feel like we're in a constant state of stress. How can we identify the root causes of this exhaustion and develop strategies to support each other while preserving our individual well-being? Well, I'm glad you guys are aware of it, but I think you would need outside help at this point. I think you would need some counseling to help you identify what is the root cause, because you're both struggling to figure out what the root cause is. And if you don't know, then maybe somebody on the outside could help you figure that out. That's my suggestion.
No, I agree. I was going to say the same thing. So
Yeah.
for sure. The next one is, I crave meaningful, deep conversations, but my partner often stays at the surface level. I worry that this avoidance might hinder our emotional growth together. How can I gently encourage more in-depth dialogue without making them feel attacked or overwhelmed? Like you said from the past email, this could be a personality style. This
Yeah.
can be, side effects from wounding.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if you can't have a heart-to-heart conversation, get on the same page and compromise, then this is misaligned.
Yep. Yeah. Because you sound like you're different people. You just do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it doesn't mean something's wrong with anyone at this point. Hi, girls. After spending several months apart due to travel and work commitments, my partner and I are finding it hard to reconnect intimately. What are some thoughtful ways to rebuild closeness and reignite the spark in our relationship once we're back together?
Several months.
Hard.
That would be,
it would destroy me.
well, I mean, to me, here's the way I would look at this. If your partner that you love and that they love you and you are away for several months and they don't want to be intimate, I'm sorry, but that would be like alarms going off, red flags flying in the wind. I would feel concerned. Unless they're an older, like 70s. Yeah, I would. Wouldn't you? I mean, something smells fishy.
You're right.
Yeah,
no, actually, yeah, there's nothing to work on here. How do you rebuild closeness? I think you guys did the damage. The damage has been done. Something's
been done. Something's been done.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
You have to rebuild it. Even if you've been gone for months, let's say they went away to war, fighting, even at that point, they'd be ecstatic.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Something's not right.
You're right. Yeah. So, yeah, you're totally right. Dear Astro Divas, my partner's caring nature sometimes crosses into overprotectiveness, which makes me feel smothered and restricted. I appreciate their concern, but I also need personal space. How can I set healthy boundaries without hurting their feelings or seeming ungrateful? I understand this email. Only because I tend to want to go through things with friends, family, partners, whatever, and someone taking their space, even though I'm that person who takes their space, but when they do it, it affects me for some reason. And I feel, it can make me feel not needed or the one to help them because I want to help so much. So I can understand this whole dynamic thing. And I too like my space. I think maybe that person is sensitive like I am, and that's why they would take it that way. But I understand your need for space. And I think you'd have to do it with compassion, with acknowledging how they feel and how they and let them know. I think you have to acknowledge. I think the answer here is to acknowledge, because I'm putting myself in that position and I know how I'm sensitive, even though I'm like this person. If it was happening to me, it would bother me. But if you were to acknowledge or reassure me, I think that it has nothing to, it's not about you. It's the way I am. And once that person you're with understands that's just who you are, which I would hope at this point they already know. But if they already know that about you, they won't take it personally. If on the other hand, you've been together for a year and they've, always shared everything with you, and then they stop randomly and all of a sudden want their space, that's different. Then I can understand why you don't understand and it's affecting you. but you clearly want to, you don't want to hurt their feelings and you don't want to make them feel, so you have to explain that. You just have to
Yeah.
be, you have to explain it. Yeah.
Just be honest.
Just be honest.
Yeah. The next one's balancing social life and quality time together. I love spending time with my friends, but I also want quality time with my partner. Lately, our schedules feel so divided that our relationship is taking a back seat. How do we strike a balance between nurturing our social life and investing in our connection as a couple? I mean, only you both can determine the priority of the time spent together versus with friends. And so if it's not that much of a priority, then it's probably not going to work out in the long run.
Right.
So that just is, you both have to come to that agreement together.
And as you get older, you'll realize, or most people do, I'm not saying everybody, but usually as you get older, your partner becomes more important in whatever relationship, and your friends become less important as you get older with age. It typically happens to the most of us. But like Tasha said, you just have to determine that for both of you, like what's more important, friends or us?
Yeah.
Can we have a balance? And yeah, it's only you guys can decide. I'm sorry, which one? Okay, dear Astro Divas, I recently started dating someone soon after their previous long-term relationship ended. Although our connection is pleasant, I worry I might just be a rebound. How can I assess whether this relationship has the potential to be genuine, or am I simply a temporary distraction? Well,
I would have to know. I mean, if it is immediately after a long-term relationship, and it would be depending on how the relationship ended too. If it was traumatic, then there's not been enough time for that person to heal. And it's not that you're a rebound, it's just they're not going to be ready because they're not going to be healed. I hate the word rebound, but you could call it that. If
it's
it
true.
was an
That
amicable
person's still,
thing,
memories aren't gone. Those
yeah,
memories are
no.
still fresh.
If it was an amicable thing where, two people, they just grew apart, then that's not traumatic. So
Right.
then I would say it's not that big of a deal. So, I would definitely only give what's given to you as far as energy, pay attention to the red flags, and go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the next one is addressing controlling behaviors. Okay. I've noticed that my partner sometimes makes decisions for both of us without my input and insists on planning our activities down to the minute. While I appreciate organization, I feel a loss of autonomy. How do I discuss these controlling behaviors constructively without triggering defensiveness? I would just say, I would love to plan this for us, or I would love to do this, do that. Interject yourself in as something you're really excited about. And hopefully they will get the message that you want to be a part of the planning.
Yeah.
You
It sounds
know?
like you've already taken a back seat to letting them do it, which is
Yeah.
probably why they do it.
Mhm.
I think maybe you have to be a bit more assertive
Yes.
and, make it known that you'd like to be a part of it. I personally love that. If somebody would take things and just, I'm going to do that and take the lead, that would be awesome. I think, it's funny how so many people have all these videos going out about a masculine and a feminine and this and that, and masculine, they take control, and feminine, all of these different things going on in today's generation. But I would say I'm way more submissive than I am the one who likes to be front and center. And I struggle with trying to not shrink myself. I struggle with trying to say it's okay to take the lead, make the big decision. But when it comes to somebody else planning things or saying, okay, I want to do this, I love that. Like, I just love it. I would
Right.
just, but I get it. You want to be a part of it. And I get it. You have to be assertive then. You have to
Yeah.
say something. Yep. Um, Establishing healthy limits. Hey, Astro Divas, I sometimes struggle with setting and respecting boundaries in my relationship, whether it's about personal space, time with friends, or privacy. What are some effective ways to define and communicate boundaries that honor both my needs and my partners, ensuring mutual respect?
Well, I would say come into an agreement on what is your date night, what is and what is your social with your friends, what
So
days,
how would you do that? Example, because they'd like effective ways to define and communicate. So obviously the communication, but to define it, what are some of the ways that you could do it that honor both needs of both partners?
Well, if they're aware on Tuesday night, I have, arts and crafts with my friends. We do a pottery class, or we do yoga. This is something I'm very passionate, I'm very interested in. We do it every Tuesday. So I'm just letting you know this is what I really enjoy, and what can we do together on a different day that will be, enjoyable for both of us.
Right.
It's just laying it out on the
Laying
table.
it out on the table. You have
Yeah.
to say something. Communication is everything. Once again, nobody can read each other's minds. And before the communication part, you have to respect one another in the sense by allowing the other person to communicate whatever they want, however they want, even if you're not happy about what they're saying. Respect first and foremost. And then there was only one, and it's for the two of us, just our insight in my dating journey. Hi, Cassandra and Tasha. I've noticed some relationships feel deeply authentic, while others seem staged or superficial. From your personal experience, what are the key factors that differentiate a true, real relationship from one that might be more of a facade? Your insights would help me understand how to nurture a genuine connection. So, what are your personal experiences?
So, a superficial, first off, be on the lookout for love bombing, gaslighting. A superficial relationship, someone will come in, um, with all of their romantic words and kind gestures, build you up. You're the best thing in the entire world, but they don't follow through with their actions.
Right.
So that's a sign of a superficial relationship. A true, genuine relationship, someone makes time. They give you energy. They are a person of their word. They will say one thing, and their energy matches what they say. So they're also someone that will get into deeper conversations when they're a genuine relationship. They want to talk about commitment, future goals, aspirations, what makes you happy, what do you like. They're interested in your needs, your wants, and your desires. Someone that's superficial, they're saying flowery words, but they really could care less about what your hobbies are, or what you care about in life, what your goals are. They don't care. So that's the difference. That's the difference.
And consistency. If they're
Yes.
inconsistent, they're calling you every 2 days, or they want to see you one week and then the next week they don't, or you're going through something. Let's say you're sick and they're saying, "How are you?" one day, and then they're off for 2 days and don't check in with you.
Yeah.
That's superficial too, because
Yeah.
they're all about them and not you
Yep.
at all. And it's
Exactly.
gotta be both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note,
All right, let's check to see what's coming in love. I'll do tarot first, and then I'll do some of the oracle. But all right. All right, what's coming in for the beautiful viewers and love? What do they need to know? Guidance, advice for the viewers that are watching this podcast. What's coming in love? Since we're in the month of love.
we're in the month of love, 2025.
Lord have mercy. You do have somebody here you guys, that is heavy in regret. This is someone that didn't put the energy into your relationship in the past. They want to swing the block to create a little bit of drama for you. Not to worry, because I see you coming out strong in your Queen of Swords energy. You know the truth, you speak the truth, and you're not interested in placating someone or their delusional rapport with reality. You're not. So I'm not concerned about you, but just be aware there is someone that wants to swing the block to cause a little bit of drama because they're in regret. And instead of reflecting on their own behavior, they would rather project on you. This could be a father figure, father of your children, someone you gave a lot of love to, that is wanting to play the victim. Now they want you to feel sorry for them. All right, what about new love? What about new love? Oh, you got a match coming in. You have a perfect match that's coming in. And it looks like they're coming in pretty quick. We have the Queen of Swords, King of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. Quick, fast action. So you have someone from the past. Like I said, in this Emperor energy, could be someone that was very controlling and dominating, but you have a new partner coming in that is going to give equally to you with the Six of Pentacles. Now, this could be why your past person's sniffing around your energy, because they know that you are going to have a reciprocal partnership that is going to be an equal energy exchange, peace, harmony, and balance. It's divine intervention. It's a passionate new beginning. So that's a blessing. Stand your ground with a past person if they want to come back in, and know you have somebody new coming in. But let's look at the Oracle deck. What's coming in love? What's coming in love?
Yeah.
Release your ex. Pay attention to the red flags. See, this is an ex that wants to return because they know you're calling in someone new. And isn't that how it always works? Yeah. They want you to stay optimistic about your love life. Know that you have the perfect match. If you have been dating people and you just haven't found the one, don't give up. There is the perfect match coming for you. Also, keep an open mind. You know, your person may not look like your typical type. So keep an open mind. Thank you, Spirit. You know, healing family issues is you addressing the wounding that you've had, most probably from childhood, which created insecurity or called in a karmic experience with this person from your past. So you're diving deep to heal these wounds so that you don't have to repeat another karmic cycle, which is amazing. But keep an open mind. Someone that's coming in may differ than your usual type. Just be open to allow someone to prove to you that they're worthy of you and your energy. Okay? That's awesome. That's
Well, thank you. We always
You're
love
welcome.
that. That's my
You
favorite
are
part
welcome.
when you do. On that note, we're going to say have a great rest of the week, obviously. And if you guys have any advice or any ideas, or you want to be on our podcast, please email us at astrodivas@astrodipity.com. And you can count on us coming back next week. And on that note, bye for now from Cass.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.